Straight ahead on 12 News, crowding concerns in the classroom, how that could bring changes to some Osseo area schools. Then, going global.
We have our eye on Korea and Japan as well.
How a Maple Grove company aims to boost exports. But first, the weekend warm-up brings a cold slap in the face to some drivers. 12 News starts right now. The frigid Minnesota weather has eased up, giving us a chance to finally get outside.
And that includes highway workers. When the weather warms up, road repair crews crank up as well. And Eric Nelson has that story.
After surviving the latest Arctic blast of cold temps, most of us welcome a sun-splashed day. However, the recent thaw also means pothole season is ready to begin.
We've been battling it all year,
which has highway crews scrambling.
With the expand and contraction of the water in all the cracks. As it freezes, the ice expands and potholes form.
Some folks think the freeze-thaw cycle this year could be worse than normal.
I actually do. They're not keeping up now because of, especially with the cold weather we had. I think it's going to be real bad.
Ezra L. Davis found that out the hard way today in Crystal. A bump in the road turned into pothole pain.
The road was fine and all of a sudden you hit a pothole, bump. Wheel started shaking, so we turned the corner. Next thing, the wheel come off.
After hitting a pothole, there are certain warning signs and symptoms that will tell you you need to bring your car in here to a repair shop. They are...
Does the car start to vibrate after you hit that pothole? Do you start to hear some noises that you didn't hear beforehand? Does the vehicle now pull? Those would be some things a person would want to look for. And
ignoring these signs could be a costly decision.
If they get big enough, you will ruin front ends.
Pothole damage can affect tires, front end alignment, and even be a steering safety issue in extreme cases.
Yeah, they're almost impossible to avoid, but you hit them and get your vehicle looked at. It doesn't take a long time to at least get it up on an alignment rack and check it, make sure everything's straight.
Eric Nelson, 12 News.
Improvements are coming for a rail crossing in Plymouth that's caused problems for drivers for months. Last summer, we showed you how cars were easily bottoming out on Vicksburg Lane as they crossed Canadian Pacific Railroad tracks. The angle of the tracks had just been changed to allow trains to travel faster. The problem was it left a big bump for drivers. Now, the Plymouth City Council is considering a plan to build a bridge over the tracks as part of the Vicksburg Lane reconstruction. Cost of the bridge is $2.8 million, but one city council member says it will do a lot to improve safety and the flow of traffic.
Suburban police departments in the Northwest Metro are getting some help keeping an eye on crime. Robbinsdale is the latest city to buy remote cameras like this one to keep watch on crime hotspots. Cities like Minneapolis have had these systems for years, but now the price has come down enough that smaller cities can afford them too. The cameras record video, and they also allow officers to watch in real time on the computer in their squad cars. Police hope the cameras can gather evidence and prevent crime.
We can watch neighborhoods without even being there. So that's going to be very helpful for if we have an area where burglaries are happening, car break-ins, anything like that. We can try to put those cameras, or the one camera for now, where we think those problems are going to happen, so we can try and catch some suspects.
And they'll also be used at places where there are large crowds, like Whiz Bang Days and Robbinsdale's upcoming mini marathon in May. They'll be used as a crime deterrent. Brooklyn Park is also working to get a mobile camera in operation.
Brooklyn Park will take a closer look at a plan to open a youth homeless shelter in the city. The city's Economic Development Authority is working with a nonprofit to identify a location and funding for the shelter. The facility would serve 8 to 10 homeless youth with an average stay of 120 days and including 24-hour staffing. No viable shelter currently exists in the Northwest Metro for homeless teens. Some parents in Maple Grove are questioning a recent proposal that would change which elementary school their kids attend.
The proposal involves changing a boundary line which determines where kids go to school. About 100 kids who currently attend Basswood Elementary would be moved to nearby Oakview Elementary, about 3 miles to the east. And Cassie Bonstrom joins us now with more on that. Cassie?
Yeah, Mike, administrators proposed the boundary changes at a January 7th board meeting, saying Basswood Elementary is overcrowded due to increased enrollment and new development in the area. The proposal includes adjusting a boundary line and moving about 100 kids in one census area from Basswood Elementary over to Oakview. For about 40 students entering 5th and 6th grade in the next school year, they would be allowed to stay at Basswood until they move to junior high. And lastly, under the proposal, open enrollment to Basswood would be closed. Now, not all parents are on board with this plan. They only recently learned of the proposal and want more time to look at and discuss the options before a final decision is made.
The concerns with the proposal is really the timing and how rapidly this is all unfolded.
We had been very intentional in our choice to make Basswood Elementary the school that we would raise our kids and educate our kids in, and so we were, of course, really disappointed.
The Osseo district says these changes are part of a larger plan to restructure schools and stabilize enrollment. They hope upcoming informational meetings will help clear up any confusion.
We hope to be able to communicate with parents why the change is occurring, what is the change that's occurring or that is proposed to occur, and how we can help families transition.
Now, if you are a parent affected by this proposal and would like to attend one of those meetings, one of them is tomorrow, Tuesday, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., and the other will be held on Friday morning, the 17th, from 8 to 9 a.m. Both meetings will be in Basswood's Media Center. Now, the school board plans to vote on the issue on January 21st, though they can ask for more time if they feel it is needed. Mike.
All right, Cassie, thank you. A new indoor shooting range celebrated its grand opening in the Northwest Metro. Target Sports Minnesota opened up over the weekend in Rogers. Those interested in the sport of shooting may surprise you. Women are actually the fastest growing demographic. And this may surprise you too. The company president says the ladies are typically better at shooting than the guys.
I think it all comes down to finesse. The ladies, I think they approach the gun with a little more caution, a little more thought, and they're more gentle with the trigger pull than the guys tend to be.
This is the third shooting range now open to the public in the Northwest Metro. However, the president of Target Sports Minnesota says there's actually a shortage of indoor ranges in Minnesota. Target Sports already envisions a future expansion that would double the number of lanes available for shooting. Well, coming up next in Business Matters, see where Maple Grove Company is finding new business opportunities.
And later in sports, it's big school power Hopkins against small school standout Maranatha in a girls basketball showdown.
But first, Tuesday morning's commute could be especially slow thanks to some overnight snowfall.
An Eden Prairie lawmaker is proposing a bill that would repeal the state's ban on Sunday liquor sales. It's a topic of continual debate at the Capitol. The bill would let local cities decide their own hours and rules. Last session, the House considered repealing the ban, but it was soundly defeated. Some liquor store owners have argued that lifting the ban wouldn't bring in enough sales to overcome labor costs. Minnesota is one of the only a dozen states that ban Sunday liquor sales. All neighboring states currently allow it. Where's the beef? That's a question meat suppliers are asking as the U.S. cattle herd has fallen to a 61-year low.
As a result, beef prices are at record highs across the country. The cattle supply has been hampered over the years by drought. Tight supplies were further diminished by the recent cold weather. Beef prices are expected to remain at or near record highs through 2014.
There is a positive outlook for manufacturing Minnesota companies, rather, to sell their products overseas. In this week's Business Matters, state figures show exports grew in the third quarter from the year prior. And locally, one small business is among a growing list of companies finding a market for their products in Asia. At this Maple Grove manufacturing company, they're in the business of making high-tech machines that can package pharmaceuticals and other products you might find on store shelves. And business is good.
We're just excited about the opportunity both in the U.S. and abroad.
We talked with sales manager Steve Hallblade because the company president is in Taiwan this week, and that's a big part of this company's story right now.
If we want to continue to grow as an organization, we have to make sure that a priority of ours is export business.
3 years ago, less than 5% of their business was exports. Today, it's 23% exports, with many of its machines being sold to Asia and Pacific Rim countries.
We're seeing growth in India, Malaysia, Korea. Japan was especially vigorous this last year.
Attorney Seymour Mansfield is a board member of U.S.-China Business Connections. Mansfield expects Minnesota companies will continue to find an export market for their products in Asia as countries build up their infrastructure.
It's a question of medical technology, optical technology, all kinds of high tech, and they are wanting to build up those systems. So they come to Minnesota, which is a state that is known for that, and they do that.
Back in Maple Grove, this company's president may be paving the way for future business in Taiwan, but that's not the only country where they see potential for exports.
We have our eye on Korea and Japan as well.
Gone are the days when a small company such as this could rely on domestic sales alone. They now know their sales market is the world.
Things are moving forward, and international is a big part of that.
While 23% of its business is exports right now, MGS Machine in Maple Grove expects that number to climb to a third in the coming years. Coming up, a little piece of treasure still hidden in Plymouth.
But first in sports, Maple Grove takes on Champlin Park in boys hockey. John Jacobson has that and more when we come right back. John Jacobson with sports. A tough matchup anytime you get Hopkins on the court, but Maranatha gave him a pretty good game.
They did, and Maranatha is used to playing up bigger classes. They're a 1A school playing up to 2A, 3A, in this case 4A, and good competition for them. They didn't get the win. In girls basketball, Maranatha Christian Academy is a small school power that has benefited from playing much bigger schools in the regular season. Mustangs win against three-time defending Class 4A champion Hopkins on Friday. Great first half in this one. Elena Jarnon getting the steal for Maranatha and ahead to Lexi Lee, who scores and is fouled. Then Lee with a long three-pointer, and this one gives the Mustangs a 24-23 lead. Hopkins, though, comes back for Aya Livingston with a rebound putback and the foul. Then later, it's T.T. Starks kicking the pass out to Molly O'Toole. She'll hit a three, and the Royals are up 46-37 at halftime. And then Hopkins starts the second half on a 9-0 run. Starks drives, and it's 55-37. The Mustangs hang around, though. Madison Lee with the three-pointer for the Mustangs. And then China Stoll will drive and score here for Maranatha. Hopkins, though, is able to answer every charge from the Mustangs, and it's the Royals going on to win it 85-68. Top Nordic teams from Minnesota, Wisconsin, and more were on hand for the huge Mesabi Invitational at Giants Ridge in Bewabic Saturday. The Wayzata girls raced to the team title, 765 team points. Runner-up Stillwater had 740. Then it's Eden Prairie, Duluth East, and Mesabi East, Virginia Eveleth rounding out the top five. Armstrong ties for 9th with Hopkins 14th and Maple Grove 25th. Wayzata's Elena Soneson won the freestyle race, with the Trojans Anna French 3rd in the Classic. Forest Lake wins the boys title, followed by Southwest, Duluth East, Copper Country of Michigan, and St. Louis Park. Locally, Armstrong is 9th, Wayzata 12th, Osseo 14th, and Maple Grove 22nd. Armstrong's John Delaney placed 3rd in the freestyle. After a disappointing loss to Andover Thursday, Maple Grove's boys hockey players are eager to get back on the ice. They were at home Saturday night to take on Champlin Park. The Rebels strike first in this game. Bryce Plunkett backhanding the pass to Anthony Toberman for the wrist shot goal. 4.5 minutes left in the first. It's 1-0 Rebels. Maple Grove answers. Josh Passold stealing the Rebels pass. Sets up Joe Norenberg for the goal, and that's 1-1 after a period. Coach Tom Starkey's Crimson team takes over in the second. Passold flips the pass over to Sam Valerius, to Sam Franta for the shot, and then Norenberg tucks the rebound away for a 2-1 Crimson lead. Passold takes a hit and gets the puck to Valerius. He's stopped, but Matt Vogel scores on the rebound, and it's 3-1 Maple Grove after 2. And the Rebels facing long odds in this one. Watch this one in the third period. Passold weaving through the D, slips the shot in, and as he's falling, a great goal for the junior. Maple Grove skates to a 5-1 win over Champlin Park. In girls hockey, Benilde St. Margaret's hosting Irondale. Benilde's Kelly Panic in the corner, passing to Casey Peterson. Her slap shot redirected by Panic for the goal. 2-0 Red Knights after one. Same score in the third period. Irondale on the power play. The pass goes through everyone, and Britta Nundahl with a slap shot that deflects in. Samantha Donovan, number 32, gets credit for the goal for the Knights. Less than a minute later, Panic zipping a pass across to Brittany Wheeler for the tip in, and Benilde again up by 2 goals. Panic sets up another one as Caitlin Riley with a rocket wrist shot under the crossbar as Benilde holds off Irondale. 4-1 is the final. In prep wrestling, Maple Grove has already defeated Osseo and Park Center to win the unofficial District 279 title. Alumni night at Park Center as the Pirates host Osseo. After 2 PC forfeits, Osseo's Adam Lanners puts the cradle on Nick Mazzucchello and gets the near fall points in the 120-pound match. Lanners wins 14-0. At 132, Osseo's Ryan Swenson gets the single leg and trips Melvin Wilson to the mat for the takedown. That gives Swenson a 5-3 lead. He wins 5-4. Osseo leads at 23-0. At 140, Isaac Osmond has the Pirates' Isaac Mansfield in a tough spot. Osmond gets the pin, and the Orioles are up 29-0. After trailing Farad Abdisa, Tyler Farrell turns the tables. He gets the pin on the edge of the mat and gets Park Center on the board. Farrell with the win at 145. But Osseo continues to dominate. Tony Aitken in trouble himself earlier, but he puts Kelvin Gorward to his back and gets the pin for the Orioles in the 160-pound match. Park Center's Julius Ogante is ranked 10th in the state at 195. He gets the throw and goes on to pin Stavros Peterson, but it's too little too late for the Pirates. Osseo rolls to a 61-12 victory. Most district rivalries in any sport, always fun and a nice win for Osseo.
Yeah, it looks like that. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you, John. Still ahead, an exciting time for treasure hunters in Plymouth.
We'll clue you in on the search that produces a nice reward. We'll be right back.
Piece of treasure hiding somewhere in Plymouth. The city's 4th annual Medallion hunt is underway, and here's the first clue. 4 years ago marks the time when we began this hunt, searching every playfield and park from back to front. The Medallion is hidden and has found a temporary home. A city space with year-round fun is where you should roam. Okay, there you go. The first Plymouth resident to find the Medallion will receive a $250 prize. In the last 2 years, someone found the Medallion after just the first clue. That's all it took.
Get going.
The Medallion hunt leads up to Plymouth's Fire and Ice Festival, which is on February 1st.
A nice little reward.
You know where it is.
No, I do not.
Me either. We'll see you tomorrow.